Thank you. Today's meeting is called By Any Means Necessary, and our speaker today is, I think he's wonderful. You need to come in, relax, sit down, strap up, and help me welcome Tony T. Give it to us.
I'm an addict and my name is Tony. Clean the day through God's grace and the program of Narcotics Anonymous. And before we get started, I just want to share with y'all that Tuesday, a friend of mine, an addict who made a conscious decision to not be willing to go through whatever it takes to get another day clean, made a decision to use and died. And this has happened so much. So before I get started, in the spirit of that no addict need ever die from the disease, can we just have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. When excuse me, when I was asked to come up here and share my experience, strength, and hope with you on this particular topic, I remember saying to the young lady, I said, well, by any means necessary. That sound like Malcolm, you know. And I said, you got the right one, baby. But I don't want to make this into something that it really isn't. A sponsor of mine and myself, we try to look through our literature to find where exactly in our literature does it say those particular words, by any means necessary. And what I found in our basic text in Living the Program Just for Today, it says, living the program just for today, it says, living just for today relieves the burden of the past and the fear of the future. We learned to take whatever actions are necessary and to leave the results in the hands of our higher power. Now, I got to be honest with y'all and tell y'all that even before I got clean and knew about a higher power, knew about God, the term, by any means necessary, played a big part in my life. You can call it what we say, going to any lengths, right, Ron? That's what we say around here. Willingness to go to any lengths. Well, before I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I got to tell you, I was willing to go to any lengths to do what it was that I needed to do. I was sharing with some friends of mine last night, and I just use this as a point of reference because it doesn't matter what we use or how much we use, who our connections were, or what we've done in the past. But as a point of reference, I will tell you that, like a lot of people here, I was a very sick child. Not physically sick, spiritually sick. All my life, I looked for, here we go, where's Usman? I looked for a material solution to a spiritual dilemma. I looked for something outside to fill up the inside, by any means necessary. I tell you, it got so deep for me that, and I shared this with people before, and I wrote about it, so I don't have no problem talking about it now. I used narcotics before I had a sexual experience. And you know, the sex drive is one of the strongest drives on earth. Until we deal with the disease of addiction. Because I lost plenty of girls to that thing out there, you know. It was a lot stronger than I was. So I say that to tell you that even from the door, from the outset, man, that like my whole mind and thinking was geared towards ways and means to get more. And the term by any means necessary became a part of my daily life. My daily routine. My daily routine. I can remember those nights crawling on the floor to steal money from somebody I was living with. This girl that had my baby, right? She would take her money at night and put it, you know, in that secret place that y'all put it in. Yeah. And I would wrestle with this woman. I mean, wrestle with her to get her money. To get her money. And the denial of by any means necessary was so deep that, like, you know, we didn't even get into the whys and the hows. I had to have it. And that's all that really mattered. So when I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I think I understood that if I wasn't willing to go to any lengths, that things would not work for me. I'm telling you, like everyone in here, I went to any lengths before I came here. Now, this thing takes on a whole different meaning after I've been here for a while. In the beginning, though, let's talk about the beginning. What was I willing to do? They asked me that when I came here. Do you want what we have to offer? What are you willing to do? In the beginning, I wasn't too willing to do. I wasn't too willing to do a whole lot. I did a little bit, and that was enough. And I got a little bit of results. What I put into it is what I got out of it. I said, yeah, I'm willing to go to meetings, but I'm not willing to do any step work. I'm not with that. I'm willing to share, but I'm not willing to stop hanging around the fellas, what we call people, places, and things. I'm willing to give, what was so freely given to me, but I'm not willing to stay out of relationships. I wasn't willing. And as a result of not being willing to go to any lengths, I used. First year I was here, I was, back and forth. I remember raising my hand and saying, I got 30 days clean, and the guys in the back going, again? I kept coming. I got this poster. I love talking about this. I took this poster from my job. I work in a methadone clinic, right? And they got all these catchy sayings around there, but all they really want is your money. But anyway, some people know. I took this poster off the wall in my job and put it in my house because I believed that it belonged in my house. And on this poster, check it out. And somebody might have seen this before, but it was a first for me. There's a picture of a little fat guy, and then there's a picture of like a big hand with a lightning bolt in it, like the higher power. And it says, mostly people change not because they see the light, but because they feel the heat. Hey, the story of my life. Let's talk about when I came here and I started to stay clean. I was willing. I had got, the heat had got so bad for me. The heat had got so bad that when I came back, I was willing to do anything you said. They said steps, I said let's go. I'm ready because the heat is too much out there. I need some air conditioning. Step one, I need some air conditioning. Acceptance of who and what I am. What are you willing to do to accept who you are? I'm willing to come in a meeting and say I'm an addict, and that's all. I was willing to come in and not talk about being, because I used to identify myself as a substance when I first got here. I wanted to be unique. I wanted to, like Ron say, wear my uniquers. When I got here, I was a heroin addict. Somebody turned to me and said, get real. Get real. So I was willing to just identify myself as an addict when I got here. And I was willing to take the first step that my sponsor introduced me to. Things got a little shaky a little later down the road. I kept coming. I got involved. I was willing. I'm telling you, man, by any means necessary, I said, I'm going to do this thing. I got, with like 90 days clean, I spoke somewhere, and then 6 months, and I was chairing, and I got involved with H&I when I had just like 9 months clean, and I'm carrying the message. You know what I'm saying? I'm going up in the institutions, man, and, kicking it to the brothers, and all this old nonsense. Well, not nonsense, and all of this good stuff, excuse me. And after a while, what happened to me was that I started to believe that I was a power greater than my own self. I was going in all these institutions, man, and people were inviting me to different areas and everything, forgetting that I was just a messenger, that I was just a trooper working for the higher power. I thought, my friends used to tease me, it was like the Michael Jackson show. People would say, well, where's Tony going this week? We going with the tour, you know what I mean? And I would get as many people as I could. I say, well, I want y'all to come for support, and all I really wanted was my friends out there to holler and make a bunch of noise so I could feel okay about myself. Still looking for a material solution to a spiritual dilemma now. All right, let's talk about the disease and what I'm willing to do to get help, even after I'm clean. Oh man, it got so bad after a while that and my friend in our area shares about this, I would come into meetings in my area, and if the meeting was right, depending on who was, I didn't even have to raise my hand to share. All I had to do was just look and give him one of these, Like I was in an auction some damn way. I forgot the basic premise, the basic principle, the basic reason why I was here, just to get another day clean and carry God's message. All my life, man, I just wanted to be somebody. You know, I remember one point in my life I wanted to be James Brown, because when I was growing up, James was the hitman, you know what I'm saying? And I started sliding across the floors and whatnot, you know. And then I wanted to be Jim Brown, the football player, and I got beat up on the football field, so I wanted to be Iceberg Slim. That was a big one, but I wasn't slim. And I sure wasn't no iceberg. So I came to Narcotics Anonymous still wanting to be something other than who I was. Material solutions. I'm still looking forward to that spiritual dilemma. What happened to me, man, was real simple. God stepped in because I started working some steps. I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. And my sponsor talked about that meant not having to worry anymore. Not having to fight for that control anymore. Give up. That self-centered part of me wants to control everything. Core of my disease, man. And the fear got so great of going somewhere and not being able to be okay with what I had to say and not being able to, oh man, I want to go here and blow this up and do this, that, and the other, man. And the fear got so great that I stopped taking commitments for a while and said, well, look, you got to look inside. I'm talking about by any means necessary, going to any lengths for me to get better. For me to get better. I had to back up for a minute and say, look, this is not what this is all about. This is an inside job. Inside job. So I had to back up, and instead of sharing with y'all, I had to share with me. Instead of reaching out, I had to reach in. You see what I'm saying? I had to get deep. Oh man, we got up in the 4th step, you know, me and my sponsor, and he said, look, you got to go inside, get the light, go in that abandoned building and start swinging at them cobwebs. You know, you got to clean it out, man. And I'm telling you, the pain of fighting with myself got so great that it was I had to go. It was either that or get high. I don't know about nobody else. I'm in Narcotics Anonymous because I don't want to use today, firstly. It's always about using first for me here. And when I say using, I'm talking about the substances. First, I'm talking about staying clean by any means necessary. No matter what I'm going through, don't pick up. First. Now, after we, understand that today, just for the day, I'm not going to pick up, well, let's get down now. Now it's time to do some work because we want to get to the core. We want to get to the root of where the real problem lies. The real problem lies with Tony. So we did the 4th and the 5th step, and there was a lot of fear for me. Fear played a big part in my life. All my life, I've been scared of something. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm telling you, I've been scared of something. When they said, look, take this gun, and we're going up in here and get paid. I said, okay. Come on, Tony. You all right, G? I said, okay. Let's go. Because I was more afraid of what you would say about me if I wasn't down. I couldn't go back to the projects, and they say, man, Tony punked out. Oh, here come a target. They might as well draw a circle on my back. Here come a target. But I was so scared because my mother told me it's wrong to take things from people. You can't get no good out of this. Fear, man, I'm telling you, motivated by fear. You know, going to the parties with the blue lights. And when I was growing up, we used to have parties in the basements and in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? And the music wasn't so loud because you only had an 8-track or one of them little speakers like that then. You know what I mean? So you had to get close to the box, and you had to be quiet and press. You know what I'm saying? And when I was growing up, man, I'm telling y'all, it took a lot of courage, man, to walk up to one of them fine-looking girls and say, would you dance with me on Stay in My Corner? Because that was the 6 minutes, you had to... I'm telling you, man, it took a lot of courage for me. I had a lot of fear about that. But, once again, my fear was overcome by somebody saying, well, take this here, man, and you can get real slick with that. And I was scared to take it, but I was more scared of not taking it. Okay, so I'm talking about fear now when I'm doing the 4th and 5th step, revealing myself to another human being. The God part I was okay with. And revealing myself to me, I was getting a little better with. But when it came time to share this with another human being, the fear really took over. The fear really took over because all my life, I thought y'all was always talking about me anyway. I was so insecure. Everybody judged me when I came out the house. I thought people were saying his sneakers is messed up. He don't really have on Converse. He got Bobos on. His mom on the welfare. You know, that type of thing. By any means necessary. Man, I had to pray. I had to ask the person, my sponsor at the time, who I was sharing this fifth step with, you know, like, please, I'm scared to death, man. Can you help me here? He said, let's pray together. Make sure God is up in here. And we can do what you can't do alone. I'm talking about going to any lengths, man. You know how scary it is for me to look inside. I'm talking about going to any lengths to do whatever I have to do to feel a little bit better about myself today. Man, I didn't just stop using because the dope was so bad out there. I stopped using, man, and y'all told me I could live happy, joyous, and free if I took a look at me. That sounds pretty good. Anyway. We walked through the fifth step, man, and we started working on the sixth step with character defects. Let me stop right here. And I heard somebody share this in a meeting the other day, and I found out the longer that I stay clean and the longer that I practice spiritual principles in my life, the different slant I get on different things. Because I used to hear people say in a meeting, you know, well, you can't change you. Only God can change you. And I'd be like, yeah! My sponsor said, man, you better read something. You know. If you change your thinking and your attitude, your behavior will change. Ask God for willingness and strength, perseverance, all right? God says you can change. You can change. I know it. I know it, man. I'm telling you. We was talking the other day. Now, I'm going to talk about, like, my character defects and how I'm working on these things today and how I've changed because I was willing to do whatever it takes. I love women. Love women. I got 2 daughters. I love them to death. I got 2 mothers, a stepmother and a mom. Grandmom, and it started there. Grandmom taking her, just hugging me. You know, she put the big, just hugged me like this. And my mom, you know, would always kiss me and tell me how much she loved me. And, you know, and so I love women. I love women. And sometimes, after I got here, I didn't know, man, I'm telling you, self-centeredness being the core of my disease, I didn't even know what was worse for me sometimes. Was the dope worse than what I was taking through with myself in these relationships, man? I was getting beat up because I was too self-centered, man, to let somebody else live. So, in the sixth step, man, I started identifying some of these character defects, and I'm going to tell you how I was willing to go to any lengths to help me today. I stopped hugging women in the meetings for a while. Unless I really knew you, you know, and I knew you wasn't about that. You was like, boy, please, you know. I stopped speaking to newcomer women at the meetings. I'm telling you what I had to do for me. And it was hard. Oh, it was hard. Because, boy, you know, they come after 28 days, you know, and 6-month programs. Oh, man, you know. Y'all are so beautiful. Y'all are so beautiful. And one of the hardest things, especially if I knew you before, you know. One of the hardest things for me to do, man, was to just stand on principle. Stand on principle. Finally, a spiritual solution for the spiritual dilemma. You know, no more material stuff. No more use you to make me feel good. Because I'm always shaky. Always shaky. In one area or another. I've got to find a spiritual solution here. Spiritual solution. Stop. 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 Stay stopped. That's what y'all told me when I first came here. Stop. Stay stopped. And in this area of my life, I had to stop and stay stopped. Now check this out, right? God is so good. Oh, they say that in Trenton. Anyway, God is so good. What God did for me was he allowed me the opportunity to face some fears. I'm 39 years old. Yes, sir. I used to say 30-something, but I'm 39 years old. Shared about denial at the other convention. Ain't got to talk about it. I'm all right with it now. Look good for 39. Thank God. Thank God. And for the first time in my life, me and Cheryl was talking about this, for the first time in my life, in 39 years, I live totally alone by myself in my own apartment. Thank God, because I didn't know it at the time, but I was scared to death. First night I went in there, oh no, I got to call somebody. Look, you know how the brothers are. Well, did you break the place in yet? And I'm so stupid and so naive, I don't even know what they was talking about. Well, I put my furniture in and what do you mean? You know, come on, man, you know, did you break it in yet? You know? But I was so scared. I went in there that first night and I said, no, God, I got to call somebody. Somebody got to come and stay with me because I can't stay here. My sponsees, I love them, said, well, didn't you pray for this place? I said, yeah, well, what was the problem? You know, they don't understand. They just stay clean. I said, well, what's the problem? I said, the problem is I got to live. I got to practice what I preach. I got to remember that whatever I pray for and whatever I receive is God's will. God's will, right? So I prayed for a place of my own place, you know. And I put stuff all up on the walls and everything, you know, and I got in there, man, and I had to walk through that fear. And I remember the first night in my own apartment playing the radio all night long. Second night in my apartment playing the radio all night long. For about the first 3 weeks, my radio was on that station all night long. Then I got the electric bill. What I've been able to do, and we're talking about changing on the inside, what I've been able to do through prayer, what I started doing, I took a suggestion from a person who had been living alone for 6 years. Every day I came home from work, I just took the first hour just for me. I walked around, I prayed, I meditated, I didn't turn anything on, I felt the walls, I hung up my clothes, I washed my dishes, you know. I took the hour just for me to be able to get comfortable and familiar with myself in my new surroundings. I'm talking about going to any lengths. I'm talking about by any means necessary being able to try to live happy, joyous, and free with me. It hasn't been easy, and I have fallen short because I've made some calls. But I'm going to tell you, man, God works because 90% of the calls I made were never answered. Never answered. And one thing that I'm talking about standing on principle now, here we go with the spiritual solution one more time. I got to tell you that in this, I live in a high rise, 15 floors, right? 13 apartments on every floor. It's a bunch of people in there. Almost all are single women with children. A lot of children. Running all up and down in this. Beautiful. Single women. And I had things to do on my refrigerator, and one of the things to do I wrote was do not sleep with anybody in this building. I'm talking about standing on spiritual principles now. Talking about by any means, going in any lengths, because see, there's some active people in that building too. And my apartment is right there in the front where they all sit at, you know, on check day and after the check is going, and then on the weekends they get dressed up and they sit out there and they be looking for a Vic, you know what I'm saying? And I be in the window counting money and looking down, you know what I mean? But
come on, Tony.
I wrote on the refrigerator, do not sleep with anyone in this building. And under that, I wrote, stand for something or you'll fall for anything. I'm talking about getting better, man. I'm not going to tell y'all that after 6 years, I come in here and, I'm sicker now. That's bullshit. I'm coming here to tell y'all that through any means, by any means necessary, I can walk through any fears. I have gotten better. I am not as sick as I was when I first came in here. And I want anybody new to understand that so that when you come and you say, well, what the hell am I coming for? He's been here 6 years and he's still sicker than he was. You know I'm sick. What the hell am I doing in here? If I wasn't, I'd be out there doing just one. You know I'm sick. That's a given. You understand that already. What I want to understand, what I want everybody to feel, man, is that we get better around here. Read the book. Practice this. We grow, man. We grow through these things. I was talking to a friend of mine outside, and he was talking about maybe, having surgery, man. And the only experience I have, look, I've been under the knife a few times, and I came out okay. That's my experience, man. I came out okay. I faced the fear, and I walked through it. Of course, back then, the drugs helped a lot. But today, if it comes, it comes. It comes, man. I believe that just for the day, with some help from y'all, some faith, some courage, man, I can get through anything. If I can stop using drugs, first of all, what can I do?
That's right.
With help, what can't I do? I had a fear, and I'm going to share this, and let me look at the time here.
You got time.
Okay, thank you, babe. There's some other fears I faced. I talked about those relationship issues, man. Lust. People throw the word lust around a lot, and that's a deep word. I had to look it up in a dictionary, and it says something like, I can't quote it verbatim, but it says something like being so obsessed with something that you're willing to rape. You know what I mean? And we say lust like it's like water. Oh, I have a problem with lust. Is your problem so bad? What are you willing to do? I didn't have a problem with lust. I had a control issue problem. It wasn't even about the sex. It was about control, man. I'm talking about self-centeredness being the core. And that self-centered fear that... This is the How and Why book. It's the sister that makes these covers is so beautiful. But that's what this is, trust me. See? And they talk about self-centered fear in here. See, my self-centeredness is my need to want to control every situation around me. And my self-centered fear, for me, is the fear of letting go of the self-centeredness. I'm scared to let it go. I'm scared to be to have no control. I want to control something, just one thing, please. Just let me. And no, later for one person. Let's get real about it. Let's get honest about it. I can't control my kids, and those who got kids know that. So if I can't control my kids, give me a partner. And see, what really messed me up was that for 4 years I had a willing partner. Y'all heard me share. I had a partner that said, take my will in my life and run it. I turned it over to the care of a fool. Run my life. And that's the worst thing you can do for me. The worst thing you can do is give me the juice card and say, you know how she used to call me, you the man, daddy. That's the worst thing you can do for me. I'm dead now. I'm just killing myself with control. So God changed that situation because I was totally powerless over that. I was like taking it and letting it go, snatching it back, and, well, I know you're using, but you can come around anyway, settling for less because I felt less. Man, look, I'm telling you, I did some work on me and woke up a little bit. I don't have to settle for anything. All I have to do is learn to love God and be by me. I have anything I want. You don't know? Man, that's why I need to live alone. I'm getting to know God and getting to know Tony. It's all right. It's all right. So the self-centeredness, the self-centered fear says, well, look, man, this is me. My disease talk to me. I like the way Brother Jamil put it. My disease get personal with me and say, yo, like he said. My disease say, look, man, you be running something around here. And I'm so scared to let that go. That's what that self-centered, I want to hold on to it, man. This is the core of my disease. I'm talking about the nature of things. Let's get in it. You know what I mean? And if the only reason that I go through all of this, that I work this and do all of this, yeah, I want to live happy, joyous, and free. That's true. But the bottom line on all of this is that if I don't do this, I believe I'm going to get high. Because I know how to do that so well. So well. And it's so comfortable sometimes. And look, I told y'all where I work at, right? An addict came in there the other day. Want to get on the program. Look, he reminded me so much of me. And he high as a kite. But he want to get on the methadone program. I said, well, like me, he must have knew he was going to run out of money soon. And don't want to be sick in between. So I'm going to sign up for the program so when I run out of dough, I don't have to be a day sick. You know what I mean? I'm grateful that they put me in this place where I can see this on a daily basis. Because I got to be reminded sometimes. I got to be reminded of my self-centeredness and my ego, will tell me that, well, look, man, you got a handle on this thing now. You can stroll through. You don't have to stop around people, places, and things. But you can stroll through, and it's going to be all right. And it might be the first time. It might be the second time. Sooner or later, something is going to be attractive for me. And everything, you know how it is, everything that looks good is not always good for me. But it looks so good sometimes. you know, I don't even want to get personal. I saw something out in the lobby when I first came in here. Looked real good to me. Have no idea what this person is about. All I know is it looked good to me. I have to stand on principles once again. What am I willing to do? Come here, share with some people I know, and she keep on passing me by. You know, just let, you know what I'm saying? Just go ahead with it. I'm learning for the first time, and this is an ego thing, and I'm not going to say it's a man thing, but it's a Tony thing, that I don't have to step to everybody I see today. This takes courage for me. And it takes action. It takes work, man. And the work it takes sometimes is just sitting down and keeping my mouth shut. And anybody who talk like me know how hard that is sometimes to keep your damn mouth shut. Spiritual solutions, man. That's what I'm striving for today. And I'm willing to go to any lengths to get those spiritual solutions. I got to share this with y'all, and then maybe we'll close this thing up. I went to a treatment facility last night, and there was a young lady in there who'd been trying this thing for a while. And honestly, I always liked this girl. You know what I mean? I always liked her. Oh, she's so cute. Sick as a bag, though, but, you know. She cute, y'all. I'm telling you, she cute. Ain't she bad? She came to me last night. She in treatment now. She came to me last night. She said, Tony, don't leave yet. I said, yeah, what you want? She said, listen, you know, when I get out of here, she said, you know, I'm going to be tearing your door down because I want to stay clean this time, and I'm going to be hanging around you, all this, that, and the other. I said, look, let me tell you something. Right now, I'm talking about standing on principles because, see, this is what I always wanted from her anyway. To be honest about it, I always wanted her to come to me. You know, I love it when you come to me. It make the work so much easier. Ever since I seen her, I wanted her to come to me. Last night, she said, you know, I'm going to be tearing your door down. Ooh, what's your apartment number? You know, I'm going to be ringing the bell and this, that, and the other. I'm talking about standing on principles, and what I told her was, well, look, first of all, get yourself a sponsor, a female sponsor. And when you get out of rehab, make a meeting and talk to her. Talk to her. I said, because if you come to me, it better be straight up and down recovery. Straight up and down, because that's all I'm giving up today. I learned that from the women in here. I said, that's all I'm giving up. She said, well, I don't know what you talking about. You know, denial is a bitch. That's all I was talking about. You know, okay, whatever. Whatever. All I'm talking about is today, standing on spiritual principles. When I do that, I can never go wrong. Spiritual principles are never in conflict. Spirituality, I was taught, is doing the right thing for the right reason. Not doing the right thing because it looked good. Doing the right thing because it feels good. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. It's hard, very hard for sick people to do this. But by any means necessary, I must get through a day. I must get through a day without causing harm to myself or others. I was in a meeting last night, 2 days ago, and I heard a guy share, and tell me if you don't hear this all the time. Well, I don't love everybody in here. And I said, why not? Maybe I'm just, and I'm learning to allow people to be wherever they are. But I talked to him after the meeting, and I said, I believe the solution to anything that we're going through is God's unconditional love. That's what got me here. That's what's keeping me here. So if I can spread that unconditionally to every human being I meet, am I not living God's will? Am I not living a spiritual life? Not talking about spirituality, not talking about God's will. I'm talking about living this. So why can't I learn to love everybody? Why can't I? What's wrong with that? Is that a utopian concept? I learned that from a college kid. Is that a perfect ideal that I cannot attain? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Too many people have walked the earth and loved everybody they came in contact with. So I'm not striving for perfection, but I'm trying to get better. We look for spiritual progress around here. Spiritual realities, not theories. I believe that just for today, right now in this room, I love each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. Because when I love someone, I want for you the same things I want for myself. What is love? We talk about God's love. I want for you that which I want for myself. So in that sense, I love you all. Sure, I don't like the way you do me sometimes. It's all right. I love you right here, right now, today, because I want you to have everything I have. And I want to have everything you have. And we want to share honestly and openly. So that's what I mean by any means necessary, going to any lengths, man. Going to any lengths. The first thing I have to do is go up in the place the addict never likes to go. Two places, the police station and here. In closing, I would like to share with y'all a little story, and I always tell this story, and it's kind of like sums up my life, you know, and I like this. I was walking down the street one day, and I walked past a man sitting on a porch with a dog. And as I walked past, I heard the dog moaning, you know, moaning. The dog was moaning, and I turned and I said, "Excuse me, sir, is that your dog moaning like that?" He said, "Yep." And I said, "Well, what's wrong with him?" He said, "He's laying on a nail." I said, "Well, why don't he get off?" He said, "It hasn't hurt him bad enough yet." Story of my life, man. I laid on the nail for a long time. Thank God it hurt me bad enough to where I could get up and try to live happy, joyous, and free today, man. I love y'all. Thank you. That's all.
The meeting's not over. The floor is open by a show of hands. If you do not want to be taped, please tell the tape man, he'll turn it off.
We got people that want to share, so come on up.
Keep an atmosphere of recovery, please.
My name is Stephanie, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Stephanie.
First, I want to thank God for everything, especially His grace and His mercy. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm real nervous because this is my first time like sharing in front of a lot of people. Even though I was a female sitting in that chair, it was like you were sitting up here telling my story. I too, when I first came around, tried to like half-step this program. Regardless of the suggestions that were given to me, it's like, okay, I'll go to meetings, but I don't want to stay away from people and places. Okay, I'll fellowship, but it's only on my terms. I'll go play cards and go to the black box, but I don't want to go to the meeting at the diner, because y'all going to be talking about recovery then. I had a sponsor, but it was like when she gave me things to write, I started writing when I felt like writing. She'd give me a time limit, and I just call her and go, "I know I'm supposed to have that stuff done Friday. I'll give it to you Monday." And she's like, okay. And due to me not taking those suggestions or trying to get this thing by any means necessary, I picked up. So I can honestly say, I came back, and this time I'm doing whatever it takes. If she say stand on your head for 15 minutes in the corner, then that's what I will do. I have a commitment in H&I now. I have 2 NA home groups. I'm trying to like do service work so I can see how this thing works. And once I see how it works, then I can know how to work it. I'm writing on steps and handing them in when I'm supposed to hand them in. I'm working, like you said, through my fears. I have a fear of sharing, but I know I have to share, not for you, but for me. I have to share in order to get better. It's a time to listen, and it's a time to talk. And I'm learning to distinguish between the two. I sat there and I prayed, and I said, "God, if it's your will for me to share, just give me the willingness and the motivation to raise my hand or get up out that seat," because low self-esteem tells me you don't have enough time. They don't want to listen to what you have to say. But I feel like I have to get it out in order to be able to receive and blessings. I have to remove the garbage. If I have garbage inside of me, God cannot bring anything good. You saying looking in, from within for strength instead of things outside of yourself. I'm abstaining from being in a relationship too, because I feel like how can I actually sit there and say what I see in somebody or what I want from somebody when I don't even know what I have to offer? See, I can't always say gimme, gimme, gimme and don't have anything to give. So in order for us to be compatible together, I have to know what I can bring in instead of what I'm willing to always take. So I said, I try to stick to the thing, and I pray every day for patience and tolerance and willingness to, because like you said, they be coming through the door looking good. But I pray that, God, please let me just stick to something for a change. Stick and stay to a decision. Anything I make a conscious decision about, please give me, the strength to keep it. And I said, after I do my 4th step, then I'll, open the doors to have a mate. But until then, I'm going to just keep it simple. Stay by myself, because that'll keep it real simple. And that's any means necessary for me, because from the age of 16, I've never, ever been without somebody. It's like I made sure I had backup. When I felt like the relationship was getting ready to break up, I made sure about a month or 2 before, I had somebody to jump right in. And I could, this 12 months, 13 months is the first time I really been without a relationship, and it's really hard for me because I don't want to look at myself due to low self-esteem. I always want to keep the focus on somebody else. But this was a good meeting for me, and I needed to be here because to keep reinstating my decision by any means necessary, by any means necessary. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Give me a hug. What's up, D? I'm Elwood, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Elwood.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank my higher power for allowing me to be here and bring us all together. I'd like to definitely thank Tony for his message. I love you a lot, Tony. I met Tony when I first came around about 4.5 years ago, and the first day I met him, it was like we were old friends. It just hit it off. Spiritually. And that's great. That hasn't happened to me until I came to Narcotics Anonymous. But you shared so much. That I identified with by any means necessary. I lived my whole life by any means necessary. Growing up, I had to be down by any means necessary. Feeling indifferent. People come to me on the street speaking Spanish to me, and I ain't Spanish. So any means necessary, I had to prove that I was blacker than everybody walking around. And, peer pressure. Had money in my pocket. But I had to steal because everybody was stealing. And everything you talked about. And had to be the best at it. And go out my way to do these things when I really didn't have to do them. But like you said, you couldn't be a punk, you couldn't come around, I couldn't come home telling my brothers that I wasn't down, that I didn't do this, because I got a worse ass whooping than I got on the street. And so all my life I had to live that way. And, when I got here, you all told me that I had to do whatever is necessary in order to stay clean, even the things I don't like doing. It says in the first step. And I was like, man, I know, dig, I ain't giving up these relationships. I had an S on them. And, because I had them, because you told me no major changes in a year. So I can't get out these things. That's a major change for me. Ron, you remember? I can't get out these things. And, it kept me real sick, too. And you were talking about, just like with the newcomers. My sponsor told me, he told me, don't mess with the newcomer. But I had to do it. And I found out it wasn't so much the newcomer who went through the pain. Mm-hmm. It was me that went through the pain. I was jeopardizing what little bit of recovery I had. And it was real painful. So I had to do whatever was necessary in order to stay clean. I had to make my meetings and work with a sponsor and network and raise my hand when I didn't want to raise my hand and be at the meetings when I didn't want to go to the meeting and all that good stuff. And all that prepared me to where I'm at today. I have to still do this thing, like you said, with constant vigilance by any means necessary. It's been real rough for me. Lots going on with me. I lost my nephew who was close to me last year. I lost my mother 2 months ago. This was my best friend. And I've been rocking and rolling by any means necessary. I've been holding on with 2 feet, 2 hands. I've been clenching my teeth. Talking about by any means necessary. When I want to lay in that bed and hug that pillow and shut the world off totally, start destructing my life. And I ain't even talking about picking up. I'm talking about total self-destruction, not going to work. And I need to go to work, you know what I mean? Not calling nobody, not telling you where I'm at. And it's painful, you know. It's hard. It's real hard. And I'm trying to hold on the best I can. I'm back to basics. It says in the Works How and Why, in the second step. Sometimes we got to get back to basics. You know what I mean? And that's where I've been, man. I've been back to basics. I've been doing what I need to do to stay clean. You know what I mean? To get through another day, because it's always going to be about using the drugs. It is. That's why I'm here. I agree with you. A lot of people say, I'm here because I want a better... I came here to stop using. That's it. Now, everything else I get is a gift. It's a blessing. God is good all the time. And I'm being blessed with all this stuff. They say gravy on the potatoes. Because I'm here not to use drugs, man. That was my problem. First, it was not to smoke that shit. But I found out, you know, I was like you. I had one problem. But now it's really to stay clean. It is. By the grace of God, I haven't had an obsession to use through this yet. You know what I mean? And I say yet, because I don't know what one day brings. But I'm trying to condition myself spiritually each day. And that's all it is, man. It's just for the day, minute by minute. Because what's been coming out, my first reaction is anger. It's anger and rage. When I'm hurting, I want somebody to hurt with me. You know, misery loves company. And I went off once on someone real dear to me. And it was just, I was missing my mother so much that day. I was physically...